Rich not here today? All right. You need to put anything up here, Rich, or are you good?
No, good.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously, it's nice to come in here Monday after a win. The lunch tastes a little bit better. Food was a little better on Sunday, and the victory meal was nice to have. And it's just great to see a smile on the kids' face and the coaches' faces, and that was a good thing. We had some good things happen in that game, as you guys well know. I thought we played outstanding on defense. I thought we held them to 31 yards rushing. They had minus 20-something yards rushing at the half, but did a lot of things. 16 runs for 3 yards or less, 7 TFLs. 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, held them to 31% conversion rate on third down, and 0 for 3 on fourth. On offense, we ran the ball for 4.6 yards a carry, which is one of our goals. We want to be at least 4 yards per carry. We were 19 of 34. We had 5 explosives in the throw game. We were 3 for 3 scoring in the red zone. And time of possession, we were 36 minutes and 21 seconds to their 23 minutes, which was really important to play team football the way we want to play. Most importantly, I thought that we saw our team play together for each other and hard and with great resolve. And I thought you saw the promise of what this football team will be able to over time develop into, which is what's excited me the most this past weekend, because I've seen the signs of that all over the place in practice and along the way. But it's been hard and frustrating as we develop this team, but love this team and believe in this team completely. And while that's one game, and while we know what we have ahead of us here, we also know that what we see is real, and it validates. As we get ready for Louisville, this will be the third time in Alumni Stadium history that we're hosting two teams ranked in the top 5. Louisville's ranked 5th. They've had some games that are unbelievable. 70-14, 62-28, 63 versus Florida State, 59 versus Marshall. 54 points versus NC State. Those are all real numbers now. Unbelievable. They rank first nationally in total offense, 603 yards, and in scoring offense, 50 points a game. No mystery. And they have a Heisman Trophy, real legitimate Heisman Trophy contender in their quarterback in Lamar Jackson. On defense, they're ranked, they're holding people to under 300 yards a game. They're 34th in the scoring defense, 23rd allowing 23 points per game, 16th in rushing defense, allowing 112 rushing yards per game, and 21 in pass defense. And I would say that their personnel on defense is as good, or it's elite. Okay, they have elite talent on defense. It's as good a defense as I've ever seen. Period. End. So the challenge is formidable. This is a fantastic football team. Obviously, they're a top 5 ranked team. The only loss they have is to Clemson, which was a barn burner in Clemson. So I think we're talking about one of the best teams in the country, without a doubt. They've got some fantastic players. I mentioned a few of them on offense, as well as Lamar. Their running back, Brandon Radcliffe, their receivers, Quick Staples and Bonifant are legitimate guys. They have big play threats all over the field. On defense, their front is huge. Devontae Fields, 92, one of their outside linebackers, 27 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, interception. Josh Harvey Clemens, the safety, number 25, is fantastic player, 53 tackles, 4 TFLs, and 2 sacks. Keith Kelsey, their linebacker, is a team leader. He's got 3.5 TFLs, a sack, and has 56 tackles. James Hearns has got 34 tackles and 8 TFLs. You could keep going here. What we have to do is we have to come out here, we have to put a great game plan together and put our kids in position on both sides of the ball, to be able to make the plays that we have to make. We have to we have to slow this game down. Obviously would be an understatement, and take advantage of situations that'll present themselves. I think we have to do a great job in special teams. So I think on offense we have to be a very physical team and we've done a good job lately of trying to distribute through through our sweep plays, our play action plays, and our inside run game. On defense, our multiplicity and our attack style. And in special teams, I think we have outstanding coverage units. Although we did have a miscue Saturday, but our coverage has been outstanding, and our protection, our punt protection, and our punt return is much improved. So we've got to make sure we elevate those areas. Our job, our goal right now is to improve, to keep improving, to keep developing this football team, and that's what we want to get done as we head into this game. On a side note, Coach Reed, Jim Reed, is back with our team yesterday and is doing very, very well and is ready to get back coaching here again on the field as we head into tomorrow's practice. So that's always great news, and everybody's excited about that. So. From an injury standpoint right now, we're still waiting on a couple of guys to see what their status will be. And that, I won't know that probably more towards towards the end of the week. Any questions?
Coach, overall, do you feel, less pressure on yourself and the team now that you've, gotten over that first hump? And, what do you see overall as the goal? You got two nationally ranked teams and then two teams that, are most of the, they're all beatable, but most of you have to that level.
Well, in terms of pressure, when you've been in the business for a long time and you've been through all the roller coaster rides of this business, I really just kind of focus on each game. For me to stand here and say it doesn't feel good to win that game, of course it does. I mean, come on now, okay? But whether it's that game or was the week before or whatever, I mean, just winning, just winning. And my interest is in the validation for the kids. Because, you guys hear me talk every week I get in here. I say, we had a great week of practice, and we did this, and we did. Because it's true. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't say it. And then not to get the validation is frustrating. So to see our kids come together and really, really draw the best out of each other and get validation for the hard work and what they've put into this was fantastic. And the other stuff to me doesn't really play on me that much. It doesn't faze me because it's part of the business. Maybe it's because I've been in it long enough. Maybe I've been around it long enough that I understand the ebbs and the flows. And so I'm not, even though I'm an emotional guy, even though I'm wear my emotions on my sleeve kind of guy, that piece for me, doesn't wear me down. Okay. What wears me down is I care about our team. I care about our kids, and I want them just like my own family. You're only as happy as your saddest child. As a parent, you say that commentary. Well, as a coach, you feel that way about your team when you love your team and you love your guys. So it was rewarding to get that win, and I think that the validation helps them rebite back to work feeling like, hey, look what we can do when we come together and we play as a team, and this is how it's supposed to taste, smell, feel, and sound. And when you have a lot of younger players on your team, and you need that, and that's important validation. So that'll help us. That'll help us as we move forward into the future. It's like a little bit of an annuity that'll come back to you. So I'm excited about that. But yet in the same breath, completely consumed with what's right in front of us right now, as you can well imagine. I mean, I'm not overstating what I stated here about who's coming in on Saturday. So.
What made you decide to go to the Davon Jones pass?
Yeah. Well, we had worked on that all week long, and we had the look. We had it on the hash that we wanted it on. We had the ball position right. We had the look, and it was the right time to call that call. And and I was really proud of Davon. Davon had a miscue early in the game, and then he wasn't in the game as much as he was accustomed to being in the game. And he didn't sit there and pout or anything. He was ready to roll. And when his number got called, he made that play, and he did a phenomenal. Even the little things that we were coaching all week long on it, we wanted always like, Dave, extend it one more step, and he did. And so that was fantastic, and it worked out great. And I love the next call for the 2-point conversion too, which I thought was great. And I think the coaches did a phenomenal job with that. We clearly need to be a team that has wrinkles, because we are at the stage right now we have a hard time sustaining consistency long enough for those long, methodical 12 and 13, 14, 15 play drives. And we've had a fair amount of them this year and come away sometimes without even points. So I think these wrinkles are something that we've, in the last few weeks, you've seen these come out, and we have to have them, because we're into now, really trying to enhance where we can create explosives, so. I mean, he is unbelievable. The guy is electric running the football, and he has a tremendous arm with unbelievable weapons down the field. I mean, this guy is as good as anybody I've seen, and I think I've seen some pretty good ones. This guy's legit, and he's got legit people surrounding him. It's not just a quarterback-receiver combination. It's a quarterback-receiver combination. He's a dual threat. They have an outstanding running back. I like their offensive line a lot. I think they're very talented. And then on top of it, and that's the point I want to make to you, is their defense is unbelievable. So, people are having a hard time. I each week I watch an explosive run tape, see who's run the ball and what are the styles of runs, etc. There's no tape. I mean, we're going into the 9th week of the season right now. I guess you could say 10 because you've had a bye week, right? But I mean, wow, it's striking to me. I mean, they're that big, strong, and talented on defense. So you take that kind of a defense, and then you put it with this explosive offense, which is really just explosive players. There's nothing dramatic going on offensively in terms of schematics. It's playmaking ability. And they've done a great job, their staff, of allowing, putting them in position to take advantage of their talent level, which is freakish. And like I said, you don't just put 63 points up on Florida State now. I mean, we're talking about some of the teams that they're putting points up on. They put a lot of points up on Clemson. I mean, at Clemson. I mean, so this is a bona fide one of the, not just because they're ranked, but because they are. They're one of the very finest teams in the country, and we've had 2 of them roll through here, but that's the state of where the ACC is. I'm really proud of the fact of where is the ACC right now. Come on now, guys. The ACC right now, this is the elite conference in the country. We've got elite teams in this conference right now, and they happen to be on our side of the division too. And you're going to see one come in here. And I think it's a great challenge for our football team. I just do. I'm like, you know what? Let's go let it hang out. Let's go let it hang out. Let's go let's go put it together and play at the highest level that we have played at all year, and let the cards fall where they're going to fall, right here at home. So, take the challenge on, embrace it, and let's roll.
Coach, obviously your players know who Lamar Jackson is, and what is the balance and the challenge in making sure that they just don't focus, your defense focus just so much on him? You alluded to Radcliffe and those other weapons they have, and just keeping the balance of making sure that Jackson is the only focus.
I think that's the problem that's happened for everybody right now is, you have to have your focus on him. But when you do that, you're in trouble all over the field. And that's why they're so hard. That's why they're so good. I mean, he can run a read zone play and misread the end, and it doesn't make any difference. He'll run right around him. The ends can't. The ends could literally be playing the quarterback, and he can pull the ball, and he's still going for a touchdown. I mean, that's against, and we have some of the elite defenses in the country in the ACC right now. This is a defensive league now, okay? And it's amazing to me. That's how electric he is. Now, Murph was electric. We had Murph here a couple of years ago, and he was a really good runner. This guy's faster now. I mean, he's fast. He's legit fast, and he's got a rifle arm, and he's just a sophomore. I'm just a young guy, so they got one there now. I mean, but like you said, a lot of talent around that guy. So you got to get carried away with him. I mean, it's got to start there. But then you're vulnerable, and this is why they're putting 50s up on good defenses. This is what's happening right now. So it's an unbelievable challenge. And then you don't get the ball moving on offense, and you put your defense back on the field, yeah, I mean, it's going to be problematic. So you've got to be able to sustain the ball on offense. That's your only hope, is to be able to keep your defense off the field a little bit and sustain that ball. And then when you sustain it, find a way to get some points up on the board. And so field position will be critical in this football game. And this is the that's the game in the game with these guys that, you got to be really, really careful with. And if you start going 3 and out against this team and you put that pressure on your defense, you're going to be in trouble.
Part of what makes him outstanding, though, is how he uses the people around him, makes them better, does he elevate the people around him?
Rich, I can't speak to that. I don't know what he's like, personality-wise. You can only guess, but his talent level brings everybody up around him because he's so talented. I mean, he's so talented. When you have that kind of elite speed and you can throw it, have the arm strength that he has, and he's obviously got a great feel for football, you know what I mean? Which is, sometimes, you either have that or you don't. He's only a sophomore. I mean, it's not like he's got years in here right now. But they play to his strengths and allow him to be the athlete that he is, which is, a lot of those plays they're running were the kind of plays we ran with Murph, when we had him. This guy's got a live dynamic arm, though, with these vertical threats that you got to watch out for.
See kind of a ball control passing game from your team against NC State? Getting the tight end involved as much as you did.
We spread it all over the place against NC. Everybody kind of really contributed against NC State, and that's where we had envisioned ourselves going. We had a lot of drops, right? We did that study, and I challenged the wide receivers last week. I mean, we just had too many drops, and we've got youth out there at receiver, young guys. One who's never played receiver, one's only been a receiver for 1 year. He's a high school quarterback, and but we challenged our receiving core because there was a lot of questions about our completion percentages and valid, and it had a lot to do with the amount of drops we had. If we had not had 21 drops on 10 on first and second and 11 on third, our percentages would have been fine, which would have given us so much more offense. But we are committed to this. And I told you earlier, we really wanted to be committed to having more balance in our offense. And we felt like the team we have right now is a young offensive team that we have to spread it around to everybody. We don't have one or two go-to guys. Oh, get it to him, like Murph, get it to him, or Andre, get it to him. We've got to spread it around. And so that's what we're trying to do right now. But in that effort to do that, there's got to be some level of consistency. And, I thought Saturday we saw much more of that. Now, the good news of all that is, as we move towards the future, where we have 18 freshmen through sophomores coming back on offense next year, never mind some juniors with 2 years eligibility left, the number really goes to somewhere around the 23 number, okay? 21 to 23 players. I mean, we're going to have guys that have really built a base and a foundation that, will make us, in our own way, harder to deal with because we'll be able to get that ball spread around in a lot of different ways with the run game and the throw game. So we're investing in that right now. But while we're investing in that, we had, some not as much productivity as we wanted to because we had a lot of drops going on. So Saturday, I thought we had a couple drops, but we caught the ball better. We spread it better. We created some explosives with some trick plays, with some, different styles of things. And had to rely on everyone's consistency factor. And while it wasn't perfect, it was certainly better. And that's what you saw against a pretty darn good defense. It wasn't like it was against chopped liver here. Now that defensive front was really good and really stout. And so it's valid what we saw. We saw sprinklings of that game one against Georgia Tech now. In a little bit babyier version of that. We saw those sprinklings. I think everybody walked away from there. Coaches, players, fans walked away and said, wow, you can see the makings. And then we came back to UMass and we saw some development. Our run game wasn't quite where it should have been, but our throw game, we hit some balls. We walked out of there feeling pretty good. And then we went down to Tech and went to their home field, really good football team, and we kind of got in a little bit of a buzzsaw, and I think some of our inexperience kicked in, and it was that was jolting, and then the rest of it from there. Then we went to 2 games we're supposed to win, we won, and then boom, Clemson, right there, boom, just like that. Okay, and that didn't go so so fantastic, you know. And then we roll ourselves back into in conference into Syracuse, and I think at that point you're still trying to shape your identity because of the yo-yo-ness, okay? And so I thought you saw signs of, if you had had a smoother transition from game one, you'd have liked to have seen that smooth into that a little bit better, okay? But it clearly will be there. I'm just giving you a little kind of like what we see kind of from the beginning to where we are right now. Now, how do we hang on to that consistency? And, well, here we go now. We're going to go into what we're going to go into right now. So it's really, we've got to be really careful this week that we, you know, are not trying to get like against Virginia Tech. You may not have really realized it, or you know, but we were trying to do a couple of things to kind of, you know, attack them a little bit schematically, which didn't work for us. You know, we need to go back and be more, you know, steady in the boat and just develop and develop. I want to be careful this week that we don't go too far that way. You know what I mean? Saying, well, what are we going to do to move the ball kind of thing. Well, what we need to do is kind of do what we do it better. Not to say you're not going to have your wrinkles, but, you know, don't get crazy with that right now, because I want us to continue to develop, or we're going to get sidetracked again, you know, and take care of the football, play fundamentally sound, have your wrinkles in, same on defense, special teams, create some explosives, create field position, and let's go play a football game right now. Kind of a mindset, okay? And I think that's really important, because I think that Tech game got us a little spun around. Anything else?
Coach, as tough as the Clemson game was, playing two top 5 teams in such close proximity on the schedule, can that kind of help some of these younger guys to know, look, they're not going to get punched in the mouth kind of early, and to know what kind of quality of team is coming in here again?
Well, we're talking about hindsight right now, okay? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you whatever cards you are dealt, you go deal them. No, probably, you know, progressional growth is the best thing to do when you're developing, okay? Honestly. You know, progressing through to that. Having, you know, more games where you can kind of incrementally build like this and build confidence and build rhythm. You know, it's hard to get rhythm when you're playing a team like Clemson. Now, you know, ultimately, you know, can those things help you? Yeah, it can, as long as you don't let it destroy your confidence, right? So when you get some of those situations and then negativity grows and negativity puts doubt, right? And those things don't help in growth. That's why the game Saturday was so important, because what that did was build some confidence. Do you follow me? And that's all part of it. Football's a game of momentum. It's a momentum game. And you can just look around and see a couple teams in our conference that had a very, you know, kind of not too challenging start, and all of a sudden they built a lot of momentum up. We're boom like this, you know, and kind of here we go again. I mean, honestly, you know, but I think we're now, at least with that win and some confidence and some validation, gives you a better chance to handle the emotional deal of this whole thing. Okay.
Just two quick. One, can you explain the approach you took with the receivers in practice last week? I think I heard there was like a different approach with the receivers and sort of like affirmation about like catching passes, and I was trying to figure out what that was. If you could.
I mean, we just, you know, what we talked about was, you know, unit pride and holding your units accountable for things, and you know, we all want to throw the ball and we all want balance, and we do, fans do, everybody does, you know, but you know. Like Bill Belichick says, you got to get open and catch the ball. I mean, you know, that's, if you're not catching the ball, then you know, that's problematic in terms of moving the ball, and just really focusing on practice on, you know, freezing the point on the catch and not trying to tuck and run, just base fundamental things in the throw game, and more strain, more attention to detail. See, what happens sometimes when you have young receivers is they're learning how to get to the right route depths and how to stem and move defenders, and, you know, all the little things, that the intricacies that go into a throw game. And sometimes what happens, believe it or not, is the catch point, you know, doesn't have the same emphasis. So just really emphasizing it. We got great guys, great kids, and I think talented young receivers. I really do. And but they're, you know, they're freshmen and sophomores that are like just getting into this. Like, I watch a guy like Jeff Smith; he gets better every day. But you know, there's a learning curve there. Mike Walker. Mike came here as a high school quarterback, and then he started out with us as a DB. And then we moved him to receiver, during the year last year, and played on kickoff returns. I mean, it's all new for him. And then you're seeing the development of Tom Sweeney. Tom's really developing, and I think he's going to be a really fine player. I really do. And and then Charlie had that high ankle sprain that I think he feels really good again now. He didn't feel great for a while there. He was, that's a hard injury for a receiver, especially a tall, long guy like that. And then we got other young guys like Benny Glines, who was a redshirt last year, and Nolan Borgeson and Thaddeus. Thaddeus has got the most experience for sure. And so I think, and they're learning a new passing system, this year. And I think they're taking really well to it. I mean, our players really like it a lot, It's just, but there's a real development piece to it right now. There's a lot that goes into throwing the football, There really is, the sophistication of the whole thing. And then, of course, I'll say, we have a fifth-year quarterback, but Pat's never been in this structure of ever. He was in a shotgun bubble, go as fast as you can kind of operation. And now, I mean, he's really come a long way, but it's almost like, he's learning all over again. Do you know what I mean? And so even you say, you have a fifth-year quarterback, but it's kind of like a first-year quarterback in a lot of ways. So, but and look at the advantage we have with guys like Darius and Anthony Brown. I mean, Darius has got, a couple more years of eligibility, right? And after this year, and then Anthony's just a freshman, so talented, and really soaking all this in the right way now. So now you can go like this, I mean, Anthony last week had an unbelievable week. I mean, because he was taking real reps with Darius, and so the growth for that's what you want. You want to see those young quarterbacks that come up this way, as opposed to what we've been doing this, transplanting him in, and it's hard to do. It's hard like that. Really is. So just interesting. Just giving you some information on kind of that growth and where we are. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.